Namaste, Jai Bharat. Normally and presumably, I don't think the majority of people in the world like battles and wars. In childhood, one may be reading through comics or books or stories of battles, wars. They were thrilling at that age, but as you grow up, as mature human beings, is, are these things continuing with us or not? It's for one to introspect and find out. But presumably, I would like to say that no one likes wars. No one likes wars, no one likes battles. Again, if you look at on a post-mortem analysis of any war, someone says someone won, someone says someone loses, but there are no losers and winners in war. All are equally losers in some or the other aspect or perspective or aspects. So in any battle, in any war, everyone is ultimately losers, but yet people do have wars, battles. And as the so-called cognitive empirical knowledge of science progresses, these things become further complicated. I'm speaking about the Israel, Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthi, Lebanon, and Iran conflicts. Actually, the nations are not involved. Why these nations are not involved is a very interesting thing. That there are proxy battle groups, proxy war groups. To begin with, the Hamas is such a proxy war group who are battling. Their target is the Jews, essentially the Jews, and they have a text to provide them support to such hatred towards Jews. Whether the text really says it or not is to be found out or to be understood by people who are sensitive and sensible, or things are told or taught to them in that way is another question. So the Hamas, they have the Jews as their enemies, and the Hamas doesn't belong to any nation. They are not fighting a battle for some of their territorial land, or for some kind of people whom they represent. I don't think they represent any other group except they themselves, who are terrorist groups in my perspective. Then comes the Hezbollah. Now Hezbollah is a proxy battle axe of Iran. But ironically, they don't operate in Iran because Iran is far, roughly 2,000 kilometers far of Israel. So they operate from Lebanon. And how Lebanon facilitates this is they only knows. So the Hezbollah. Then there yet another group, the Houthis. And there are many such groups all over the world who don't belong to a nation, but they are really well equipped and well armed, and with so many people regularly paid, and they behave like an army with all kinds of facilities, but they don't belong to any nation. The fundamental job of any army is to defend the nation from any aggression. So we call them as defense forces. But these people are not defending anyone. They are offending. They are offensive forces. That's what makes them terrorism or terrorists. Now, see, one very nasty thing in common for these people is that they are basically proxy group, and they don't go to warfare directly. They hide behind civilians. Either women, children, keep them as the shield, and from behind them they attack, or they hide. They make the hideouts under apartments where civilians live, or they made their hideouts and stoke their arsenal under hospitals. Look at that. Under hospitals, and schools, or even some religious places. So this is how they battle. It's not real kind of war, it's real kind of heroes that we have heard of. And right from childhood of the hero stories of warriors. But this is hiding behind to the extent I would say, petticoat of women to create battles. So they are not bothered of any ethics. Naturally, terrorists are not bothered of any ethics. The terrorists are not very ethical. They don't really know what they're fighting for also, except their own life after death kind of question which was filled into their minds. So Iran, when they sent so many ballistic missiles to Israel, they addressed that operation as Operation True Promise. They sent 800 plus ballistic missiles to Israel, and Israel is a small land area. They all would land, and that was more than sufficient to make Israel into a second desert. But they have defensive systems. They have very successfully defended their land with whatever kinds of system they have. I don't know, so I wouldn't speak about things that I don't know. At least I must have some presumable capacity to understand, which I don't have. So the Operation True Promise. But today there appeared to be a tweet from, I think, Iranian Defense Forces or Foreign Minister, someone, which says, we will repeat that. We will again do True Promise. It means we will again attack Israel. So I don't think this thing comes to an end, in spite of the fact that, see, Israel said that we have done our part. They said we have done our part, and if you do it again, you will get it back. They have a history of remaining gluttons for punishment at the hands of Israel, which they don't recognize, it appears. And the sending of ballistic missiles had not given any desired results, and they have taken punishment. Their hands, the left hand and right hand, that's both Hamas and Hezbollah, were destroyed by and large, and getting destroyed. And the Houthis are on the run. With all those things, they would still want to fight. What for they are fighting? Now, are these fights for the people of Iran? Absolutely not. They are fighting for something which they are not sure of. Whatever may be, but they are not sure of what they are fighting for. And they would say they will continue to fight. And this is inviting trouble. And this thing is not going to end tomorrow or today. I think it shall go on until Israel puts a full stop to it. And Israel will only put a full stop to it when they will permanently eliminate the continuous peril and threat that which they have from these kind of agencies. Israel is one nation, but they are fighting with so many people, so many agencies, so many proxy people who hide behind either hospitals or schools or in civilian apartments or even women to do all those things. This is actually a matter of shame too. Actually, this, I think, is there are proxy wars going on. So that's what makes it terrorism, as I said. So the true promise. So when they say it's true promise, then they imply a true promise and false promise and a promise and no promise. I don't understand all those things. But then, as the case stands, things are not going to end. If Iran again attacks Israel, they will only attack through missiles, and I don't think they have any flying objects to go that distant and bomb and come back successfully. That needs a larger preparation, larger kind of equipment, and larger kind of organization, which apparently they don't have. Or if they use the unacceptable methods of battle, we don't know. Anyway, things are again going to be unpleasant. They don't come to any kind of near end, it appears. Unfortunately, let's hope things will get settled. Let's hope reason will prevail in the minds of people who are involved in this and who rather enjoy this battle as I see an action movie. Should have not been the case. So we'll meet again with some other thoughts. Namaste. Jai Bharat and Jai Shri Ram.